Hello everybody here inside the Dynamite Effect. It is Kim and I am so happy and grateful that I am here on this wonderful Monday. This is our Monday Mindset Mentor section and my goodness, today is a different type of a Monday. I hope that some of you can come and join us. I'm going to just share a little of my thoughts on this particular Monday. And hopefully some encouragement and something that you can take away and implement into your life in maybe something that you're struggling with right now. Maybe you've got a problem that you're facing. Maybe you're going through some emotional roller coasters. And I can definitely relate to that. So it is my pleasure to be here today, guys. And I'm not going to take up much of your time. But I do want to share some tips that Bob has shared with me. And this is really what this section here on a Monday is all about. So it's good to be here. Good to see some of you joining us. So, very different Monday to other Mondays, guys. I think you'll agree. A lot has happened in the last few days. And of course, I want to, here inside this group, inside this community, share some thoughts and speak with you and be with you and just, I think, hold a space. I think that's probably the best way that we could explain this. For anybody in this group who has maybe not been watching or hasn't seen, but of course we are all aware, I think the whole world is aware, that one of the greatest master teachers has left us on a physical level. But my goodness, he has never been more present than he has since Friday, when Bob Proctor, of course, transitioned into his next eternal journey. A very sad time for people here, us. You know, we are all spiritual beings, but we do exist and live in this physical world. And of course, we have to then understand that there are going to be things in this world through our lifetimes that are going to challenge us and test us. And of course, that is why actually this whole experience for me has actually been very different. Very different to what I perceive it could be. And I know I'm kind of talking in riddles, but I suppose to be super clear and transparent, as most of you know, Bob Proctor was not just my mentor. Bob Proctor was probably one of my closest friends. He was like a dad to me, very much played a very fatherly figure. I do have a wonderful father, but Bob just, me and Bob had a very special connection. And I don't say that to take away from maybe what some of you guys are feeling. I think Bob was one of those characters where no matter if you met him or whether you just listened to an audio, he was the sort of person that just penetrated your soul. You could feel him. And it's not him as the man, you know, Bob was just a guy, but he had an extraordinary way of helping people really figure out who they are. And that's why actually over this weekend we've been celebrating Bob. We've been celebrating what he has brought to this world. And we're also celebrating and thinking about how we're going to continue this on. There is no doubt in my mind, there has never been any doubt in my mind from the moment that I met Bob and started to work with him that this is my passion, this is my purpose. And this little executive pin means the world to me. And it was always in my mind, getting to that executive diamond and being the pillar was always me and Bob's little private joke. He was always testing me, he was always pushing me, and he was always just having good fun because he always knew no matter what I do or say, Kim will want to go and achieve it or do it. And we had that little fun game with ourselves, and it's all those little memories that is in these moments you want to look at, you want to acknowledge. And I want you, whoever you are watching this right now, I want you to think about the joys that possibly Bob's work has brought into your life. As I say, he was my mentor, he was my friend, he was like a dad to me, he was like a granddad to me, he was a boss to me, he was sometimes a real pain sometimes, you know, it's just, you have everything in one person. And I did a video into the Proctor Gallagher consultancy yesterday, and I'm going to share the same little tips that I shared with them in this moment, in this time, when it can be very easy to get lost. And even if you're, you know, you don't know Bob, and maybe this, you know, everyone will have a different emotional impact for sure. But I think the lessons that Bob have taught us have always been lessons that can be used in any area of our life over and over and over and over again. You know, in the last couple of days that I've been celebrating Bob's life, celebrating memories that we've had together, celebrating even just the last 6 years that I've been with him, and all I can ever go back and say is I'm so grateful I have this. I have this roadmap that Bob spent, you know, 60 odd years building and creating so that people like you and I could actually live an extraordinary life in an expansive way, with less work, with less pain, with less pressure, and do it in an effortless way. And that's what Bob would want us all to be thinking about now. What can we learn from this? So one little lesson that Bob always taught me, he says, Kim, there's a 3-step approach to use when anything happens. And the first step, and just to give it a bit of context, he actually got this off Michael Beckwith. Some of you may have heard of Michael Beckwith's work. He's a pastor out in LA. And Bob shared this with me, and I've always used it. And I really used it this weekend as well. And the first one is, it is what it is. Accept it. It either controls you or you control it. Now, I want you to think in this. Maybe you're going through something at the moment. Maybe you're facing, I don't know what. But these 3 statements, first one is we're looking at is, it is what it is. Accept it. You either control it or it controls you. So I want you to think about that situation. You know, when anything happens, what we've got to realize is it's happened. You know, Bob has taught me over the last 6 years what the creation process is. How does anything happen? How is everything created? How did the sand get turned to glass? How is it when you heat this glass and the water moves into steam and ether and air? How does that all work? What is the science behind this thing that we call life? That's what Bob has taught me. Now, when you really think about this, when you understand how the world works, how you work, then you start to be able to control things from the inside out. Now, when something happens in your life and you don't like it, and you know, Bob, you know, moving on, I don't like it. It's very upsetting. But I also have to realize it is what it is. And I've got to accept it. And until you accept something, you can't really start to deal with it. So I want you to ask yourself, whatever maybe you're going through, it is what it is. Accept it. Because if you don't accept it, and I'm not saying you have to, you know, let's say something happens to you and it's not right, or for whatever reason, and you go, well, I don't accept that. I'm not saying you have to accept what maybe somebody's done to you or what has happened. I'm saying, okay, it's happened. Accept it. Sometimes we can fall into victim modes. Sometimes we can fall into giving attention to all the things that we really don't want to give attention to. And over this past weekend, Lindsay is out of the country. It's very interesting, I think, that I've been home with being away from people that I love, and I just find it's very interesting, the timing. And when I've been upset, I've cried, I've been annoyed, but then I keep going back to what Bob says, and that is, it is what it is. So that takes me on to the second point. Once you have realized it is what it is, and you've accepted it, the next best thing to do is to harvest the good. There is good in everything, but you've got to look for the good. Now, sometimes this can be hard to accept, hard to hear, but it is also true. And one of the lessons that Bob taught me is about the universal laws. You've probably heard me talk about them. One of those universal laws is the law of polarity. And the law of polarity states that there is always an opposite. So if I look at a battery, there's a plus and there's a minus. There's an up, there's a down, there's an off, there's an on, there's an inside, there's an outside, there's the front, there's the back. And if something is not good, well, there's also good in it. Because we live in a universe, in a world, whether you accept it or not, it's still true, that there is always an opposite in everything. That's why there's people right now that are living life on their terms, and there's people that are not living life on their terms. The opposites are always in existence, but it is us who chooses which side of the coin we want to be on. You get to choose. If I had to really say what is the greatest lesson Bob Proctor has ever given me, it is that. I have choice over my life. I have choice over my economy. I have choice over how I experience this world, reality, life. Because he taught me how to create it. And when you're going through something, when anything happens, the first thing you've got to do is realize it is what it is. Accept it. It either controls me or I control it. Secondly, then we harvest the good. Find the good. So if you're going through something right now, what's good about it? Now, before the little inner voice, what we call a paradigm, jumps in and says, no, there's no good in this. Look again. Because I always used to listen to the words Bob would use and teach me. And we often talk about, you'll hear me talk about, studying. We study to raise our level of conscious awareness. And a lot of people don't know what studying is. They really don't understand it. They think we'll read a few books and watch a few YouTube clips and yay, we're studying. Well, that's not really studying. And Bob always taught me to look at every single word and understand what is the perception they're trying to get across. And when I look at this, it says, harvest the good. The more you look for good, the more you will find. Now, I think the key word here is look. Because really what that's telling me is that's an action that I have to take. The universe will always have abundance and lack. The universe will everything is here, right? Now, the universe wants you to have abundance. But you could also have lack. And this is where it comes down to its choice. So there's good in every situation that seems painful, that seems difficult, that seems like I am going to break right now. There is good in it, but you have to look for it. And that's why I think accepting and understanding that it is what it is first allows you to then look for the solution, allows you to find the good. If you are so focused on why did this happen to me? Why did this happen now? Blaming, victiming, whatever it may be, you're only hurting yourself more. Now, I think there's always a time, especially right now, and obviously with Bob having passed, there's certainly a time for being with that, mourning, being upset. I do not think that anybody should just be, woohoo, let's be positive. Bob would want us to have a positive attitude. But we also have emotions. There's also sadness. But you can still have sadness with a good, positive attitude. Sometimes that sounds contradictory. I've been in my office this weekend and I've been going through books, photographs. I think we all do those things where you just kind of go and look at things. And I found all these photographs. Now this one's ripped a little, but I was just thinking, oh, I remember all this. It's so cute. And I'm looking at it, and of course I'm bursting out into tears. But they're tears of gratitude, of joy, of appreciation, of understanding, of so many different things. And that's how you can have a good attitude in a period of sorrow, in a period of loss, in a period of difficult times. Bob never taught me how to live in a world that it's all rosy all the time. That'd be a really boring life. Really boring. Bob taught me, Kim, when times get tough, that means something really good's coming. And if you have the courage and you have the desire to lean into that, you will get rewarded by universal law. So now I see things that test me, push my buttons, make me feel a bit sick, make me, like all those things. I now go after them because I know that's where the growth is. So you can look for the good, but you've got to look for it. Now, how do you look for the good? Well, you just start to ask yourself, what's good about this? And you might have to ask yourself that a couple of times, and you might have to start with just something really, like, it's not awesome, but it's just enough to get your mind moving in the positive momentum, which is going to be built up over a consistent period of time. And then it all starts to change. The third part, which I think is the most important. So let's go over the first two. It is what it is. Second one, harvest the good. Number 3, forgive the rest. Now this is a big one. And I would say that there's people right now listening to my voice and you probably need to let go of something. To forgive, Bob always said, forgive means to let go completely. Abandon. Now, this is not something we're really good at, but it is essential to learn. And this one lesson probably saved my entire life, because I had a lot of forgiving to do to myself. I had a lot of forgiving to do to a whole load of things. Myself, family, a whole load of stuff. But until I was able to go there, I can't go anywhere else. Now I want you to think of this, maybe past situations, arguments, memories, situations, whatever it is. If you're holding on to it in your mind or in your heart, it's kind of like massive boulders with chains. And as you're trying to move forward in life, dragging this behind you, it's weighing you down. This is why we do not feel that we have enough energy throughout the day. This is why we tend to pick up more sugary foods or fattening foods to get more energy. This is why we get confused and get frustrated in our working environments, because our mind is in a chaotic state. There's no calmness. I'm very calm today. I'm very calm most of the time. In fact, I look that calm sometimes I look lazy. But these were all the greatest lessons that Bob taught me. Calmness of mind is the beautiful jewel of wisdom. And I would just ask you today to think about what boulders or what chains can you let go of? What pain are you carrying right now and remaining active in your vibration that maybe happened years ago? Maybe it only happened a week ago, but maybe some people are holding on to it for years. If you can cut those mental chains, you just take off. You accelerate in life. So today, my message to you on this first Monday is to really just sit and ask yourself, how can I apply this? How can I find the good? Accept it. Find the good. Forgive the rest. And remember what Bob says. Bob says forgiving is to let go completely and abandon. A lot of people say to me, oh, Kim, I've totally let go. And then they tell me the whole story. You don't mean to do that. It's habitual. But stop yourself. Are you sometimes arguing for your own limitations? Are you sometimes beating the drum of what you don't want, wondering why what you do want is not coming to you? You can't be sad and attract happiness. You can't live in a lack mentality and attract wealth. It's like holding ice and expecting to get hot. It's polar opposite. This universe, this world, your results operate by universal law. It's a science. And I'm so grateful that I had the best teacher in the whole world. And I get emotional when I think about that. But again, it's emotions of honor. It's emotions of purpose. And it's almost an emotion of knowing it's only getting started. I want to live my life exactly like Bob. And Bob didn't make it about Bob. I don't want to make it about me. Bob always made it about you. And I believe that's why here at Dynamite Lifestyle, why we're special, why we're different, and why we're going to continue on this legacy in whatever way that looks, supporting Sandy, supporting Proctor Gallagher, and whatever that is, will be perfect. So today, I hope you've enjoyed this message. I think Bob is streaming right through us right now, to be honest. And I'm going to be back here every Monday just doing a wee live with you. And we had already organized a webinar this Thursday night called Love, which is interesting timing. And it's on the levels of vibrational energy. I'm going to be teaching on that this Thursday night. We've decided we want to go ahead with that. If anything, Bob does not want to stop. He wants to work to and through me, other consultants, other people on our team here. And my advice to all of you listening out there is to just listen to your intuition. Resonate, be guided, and find what you need, because it's all here. And I would invite you to come along on Thursday night. It'll be at 8 p.m. We're going to continue on with it. It's completely free. It's a masterclass, and I'm sure it will be an interesting one, obviously, this week. But I would ask you, even if you just do it for Bob, come along. Bring people that you know. Let's use this moment of such a pinnacle leader in the personal development, the whole world. Like, there's nobody like Bob Proctor. There will be nobody like Bob Proctor. But nobody needs to be Bob. Bob can be Bob. I can be Kim. You can be you. And that's the beautiful thing about it. We're all unique. We're all different. We're all special. But it is up to us to look and find that, bring it to the surface. Bob has trained me up. He's given me everything that he possibly could. And it was enough. And I know that. He knows that. And I'm ready to serve. And I'm ready to make a big difference. I'm only 34, so you're going to be looking at me for a while. So the link is in here. Please bring along friends, co-workers, anybody. If you think that, you know, we can make this is our opportunity to make such a radical change and a movement. So come along, and I look forward to being there on Thursday night at 8 p.m. All right. Many thanks for being here, guys. I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye-bye.